It has been a crazy summer, and I know I've gone a bit dark for a while. I haven't been publishing videos, but I've been getting tons of footage. So there is a lot to come, and I'm really excited to share with you the fruits of this summer's photo adventures. But today we have something a little bit different. As you may know, the headquarters of my full-time employer is in San Francisco, so I make my way out there every now and again to remind my boss that I'm still alive. But while I'm out there, I always make it a point to schedule a lot of time for street photography because, it's San Francisco. And like most of my videos, whenever I embark on a photo journey, I always like to have something to try out or play with to get me excited to keep things fresh. So this time, I decided I would use my trip to San Francisco as an excuse to try this. No, it's not a fancy new digital camera. It's way more exciting to me. This is a new film developer chemical solution thing. Yes, folks, while Fuji is dumping film stocks like it's 2005, companies like Cinestill are actually innovating to make film photography easier. And while yes, it might be true that they created this stuff 20 years too late, what we have here is a revolution in black and white film photography development. This is Cinestill's Df96 newly minted monobath developer, and what this stuff allows you to do is to develop your black and white film in just one step that takes only 3 minutes. For those of you nutcases like me who enjoy developing your own black and white film in the comfort of your own homes, you'll know what a breakthrough this is. No more fixer, no more massive dev chart with all sorts of times and temperatures to worry about, no more setting up a timer for 6 to 12 minutes with agitation happening every minute, making multitasking impossible. Nope, the promise is just one solution, one temperature, and just 3-minute bath in this stuff, and you'll get black and white film photography gold. So I was stoked to test this out, but as you know, I'm not one to test things the right way. If I was smart, I would take some lame shots of my desk or kitchen and develop them to see that this stuff works first. But no, I decided to take out one of my favorite film cameras, my little tiny inconspicuous Rollei 35, out on the streets of San Francisco for several days to see what I could come up with and to use that as test rolls for this solution. So before I talk about this stuff, I want to show you the photos and the video I got in San Francisco because all of this really is just an excuse for me to make photography. That's the real point here. So I'll show you that photography along with a video of my time in San Fran. I'll also show you some photography I got with my Sony a7 III, the 24 to 100 f4 millimeter lens. Just because sometimes you see a shot that doesn't lend itself to black and white, you want some color, or this has a fixed 40 millimeter lens, and sometimes I want a little bit more reach than that, and I like to have the flexibility. Since I was using this for video anyway, I did take some still photography. So I will intermingle this a little bit because I can't help but not. But mostly it's about this and 2 film stocks that I took out. That would be Ultrafine Extreme 400 and Kodak Tri-X 400. Both of them were pushed to 800. So after I show you that montage, I'll meet you back here again to talk about this stuff, why it's cool, what it did to my photos, that sort of thing. So enough yammering, let's roll some film. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. As always, I thoroughly enjoyed being in one of my favorite cities to photograph, and I hope that was reflected in my work. So let's talk about the Cinestill Df96. Since I pushed all my rolls one stop to ISO 800, Cinestill Df96 recommends that you actually raise the temperature, not increase the development time like you normally would do. So for normal film stock, you just develop this at 80 degrees with 3-minute continuous agitation. But where I wanted to get one extra stop out of the film, I just microwaved the stuff up to 90 degrees. So 3 minutes later, it continuous agitation and a quick rinse, and my film was developed. It was the fastest I've ever developed 4 rolls of film, and I have to say it was pretty awesome. But how did they look? Well, I have to say the rolls were different than I expected. As you know, if you've watched some of my other film-related videos, black and white in specific, I have a certain fondness for Ultrafine Extreme 400. It's a cheap film, but it has great tonality and contrast and good sharpness. It dries super flat, which is great for scanning. And if I push it, I don't usually have to do much with the curves in post. It just comes out the way I like it. I'm happy with it, and it's the cheapest film available in the States. So for me, it's a no-brainer to shoot with. However, I have to say that this film seemed a bit off in Cinestill Df96. It's a little bit more milky than what I'm used to when I compare it to the Tri-X, which Ultrafine is usually more contrasty than, especially when pushed. It seemed less contrasty than the Tri-X when developed with the Df96. But Tri-X in comparison looks amazing. Is this because Cinestill optimized the solution for Tri-X and other more popular films? Probably. Ultrafine Extreme isn't even sold in Europe, and it doesn't have the mass appeal that Tri-X does, so I'm guessing that's why. Either way, I have to say that I was not disappointed with the developer overall. It didn't ruin the film. In fact, the photos, especially the Tri-X, came out looking really great. So for me, I think I would like to do more testing to see how Ultrafine Extreme does, maybe at just box speeds, and just to make sure I just didn't do something odd or wrong with that particular roll. But if you're a Tri-X shooter, I don't have any hesitation recommending the use of Df96 at all. Now for everyone else, all of you photographers who either stopped or have never shot film, if you're still watching this video, I'd encourage you to try it out. Between developers like this, it really just makes film development pretty darn simple. Seriously, if I can do it and not mess up, I promise you can do it. Between that and the cornucopia of cheap film cameras out there on the used market, it really is a great time to play with film. Get in touch with photography's roots, bring back a touch of the raw and the random in your photography, and I promise it'll be worth it. It's a lot of fun, and I think it teaches you a lot. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'm sure I'll be using Cinestill Df96 again in the future, but until then, remember, kindness before cameras. We'll talk to you again real soon.